Welcome back, everyone, to the Geeks, Geezers, and Googleization Show, the home of Googleization Nation, where we talk with HR and business thought leaders about the crazy, never-normal shift going on all around us. Our goal is to bring you ways to reimagine tomorrow and explore the ever-changing convergence of people, business, and technology. Here is your host, Ira Wolf.
Welcome back, everyone, to a very special episode of the Geeks, Geezers, and Googleization Show. It's another deep dive that revisits two of my all-time favorite podcast episodes and conversations. My guest was Zach Mercurio, and we talked extensively about the increasing importance of mattering at work. So let's start here. Loneliness isn't just about being alone. Shockingly, 82% of respondents in a recent EY study reported feeling lonely at work. This feeling arises when individuals lack a sense of mattering, impacting not only performance, but mental and physical health, with costs reaching billions in healthcare and lost productivity. But that's not all. As many of you might know, I teach a graduate class in organizational change management. And one of the biggest challenges that leaders face today is getting their people comfortable with the uncertainty of change. But it's not just the uncertainty or the change that's troublesome, but the speed at which people must adapt. According to recent and ongoing research, the lifespan of a thriving business model, once stable for several decades, has shrunk to no more than 2 to 3 years. Think about this. To execute change effectively and swiftly, leaders need the employees, customers, vendors, and the marketplace to trust them. And how can you possibly build trust if people don't think they matter? This is crucial during organizational change. When people feel they don't matter, they're less likely to engage, adapt, or contribute positively. And let me give you a hint about what my favorite takeaway was. Zach brilliantly differentiates between the meaning of work, which is personal, and the meaning in work, which is experiential. Leaders must spotlight the latter, showing how even routine and mundane tasks contribute to a larger purpose. This counters the just a paycheck mentality, vital when change not only disrupts our familiar routines, but is constant and never normal. I hope after listening to this deep dive into mattering at work, what I feel is the number one reason organizational change fails, you head on over to your favorite podcast platform, which includes YouTube, and check out the full episodes of my interviews with Zach on Geeks, Geezers, and Googleization. I've also added links to these podcasts in the notes below. Now, get ready to sit back and get ready to enjoy this 15-minute deep dive into mattering at work.
Ever feel kind of invisible at work? Like, all your effort kind of just vanishes?
Yeah.
It's more common than you'd think.
It is.
And get this, feeling like you don't matter at work can be as bad for you as smoking like 15 cigarettes a day.
That's a powerful image.
It is, right? Like, that's a serious wake-up call.
It really is. And I think it speaks to something we often overlook. The profound impact of feeling valued.
Yeah.
Truly mattering.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just recognition.
Right.
It's deeply tied to our well-being, our motivation, even our physical health.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this whole idea of mattering at work.
Okay.
We're going to explore why it's so important and how to actually cultivate it.
That was good.
Our main source for this is Zach Mercurio.
Okay.
He wrote The Invisible Leader. And he's got a new book coming out.
Oh, cool.
Called Mattering Comes First.
I like that title.
Yeah. And we've got 2 of his interviews from the Geeks, Geezers, and Googleization YouTube channel. Yeah, I think you'll find this really fascinating.
I'm sure I will.
One of the things that really struck me was Mercurio's idea that there's no such thing as true, self-actualization.
How can you not actualize yourself?
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But he argues that reaching our full potential, it's not this like solo climb to the top of that pyramid.
You mean like Maslow's hierarchy?
Exactly. That pyramid we've all seen with like self-actualization at the top.
Right, yeah.
He's saying it's more about what he calls we-actualization.
We-actualization.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and he highlights how interconnected our needs really are. From, the basics like food and shelter to belonging in a scheme.
Oh, okay.
He's saying we just can't achieve any of it in isolation.
It makes sense. Think about even something basic, like putting food on the table.
Right.
It relies on a whole network of people. Farmers, truck drivers, grocery store workers.
It's a whole system. Exactly. And Mercurio connects this to a concept from the Blackfoot culture.
Okay.
Called community actualization.
Community actualization.
Yeah, where individual well-being is seen as everyone's responsibility.
So it's not just about like caring about our colleagues. Right. It's about actively caring for them.
And that's a key distinction that Mercurio makes. Caring about someone is passive.
Okay.
But caring for them takes action and skill.
It's a more active way of engaging with the people around us.
Exactly. It's about intentionality.
There was this EY study that found that a huge percentage of employees, 82%, have experienced loneliness at work.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it really emphasizes the point that loneliness isn't just about physical isolation.
Right, it's about feeling like you don't belong.
Yeah, like you're invisible.
And that feeling of not mattering has a huge cost, both for individuals and organizations.
Yeah.
We're talking billions lost every year.
Wow.
Because of healthcare expenses, absenteeism, and presenteeism.
And this brings us to another interesting point Mercurio makes about the Pygmalion effect.
The what effect?
Pygmalion effect.
Okay.
And it's this idea that if we treat employees like they're just there for a paycheck, it can actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I see what you mean.
Like if we project low expectations, people are more likely to kind of live down to them.
It's like setting them up to fail almost.
Right. It's like telling someone they're not capable of growth.
Right.
And then being surprised when they don't grow.
Exactly. And it really highlights the responsibility we all have in shaping the workplace environment.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just hope for a positive culture.
Right.
We have to actively create it.
Through our actions.
Yeah, and our interactions.
One of the things that I found really helpful was the distinction Mercurio makes between the meaning of work and the meaning in work.
Meaning of versus meaning in.
Yeah. Can you unpack that a little bit?
Sure. So the meaning of work is like someone's overall reason for working.
Okay.
Like why are they doing this?
Right.
It could be financial security.
Yeah.
A sense of purpose. Or even just like a means to an end.
Okay.
But the meaning in work, that's about finding significance.
Yeah.
In the actual tasks themselves.
Gotcha.
No matter what that bigger why might be.
So even if someone's main motivation is just earning a paycheck, they can still find meaning in how they do their job.
Exactly.
I like that.
Mercurio uses the example of a truck driver.
Okay.
Their meaning of work might be to support their family.
Right.
But their meaning in work could be about ensuring safety on the roads, delivering goods efficiently, contributing to how society functions.
It's a great example because it shows how any job, no matter how like mundane it seems, can actually have a ripple effect and contribute to something bigger.
Exactly. Even those tasks that seem repetitive or unimportant can have a real impact when you see them through that lens of meaning in the work.
And I think that's where leaders have a real opportunity to help employees connect with that meaning and see how their work actually matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at the skills Mercurio talks about.
Oh, yeah?
And I noticed some parallels.
Oh, yeah.
With the stuff in Seligman and Kellerman's book, Tomorrow Mind. They discuss this thing called PRISM.
PRISM.
Which stands for Prospection, Resilience, Innovation, Social Support, and Mattering.
Okay.
In both Mercurio and Seligman and Kellerman, they really emphasize a growth mindset.
Which ties back to that adaptability quotient.
Right, AQ.
Yeah, that we've talked about before.
Exactly. And I think a growth mindset is crucial for fostering this sense of mattering.
Why is that?
Well, because it helps people reframe challenges and setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth.
Oh, I see.
So if you believe that you can improve and evolve, you're less likely to interpret difficulties as evidence that you don't matter.
That's a really good point.
And this brings us to a big question in today's world.
Okay, shoot.
How is the rise of AI
going to
impact all this?
It's a big one.
It is AI is everywhere these days.
It really is.
And it's definitely changing the workplace.
No doubt.
So what does Mercurio think about all this?
Well, he believes AI can both help and hinder mattering.
Okay.
But he's pretty adamant that it can never truly replace human connection. You know, AI can offer tools and insights. It can even predict burnout and suggest resources.
Yeah.
But it can't replace that face-to-face neurochemical mirroring.
What do you mean by mirroring?
Like when people really connect, there's this subconscious syncing up of our nervous systems.
Oh, wow.
It creates this shared emotional experience that's really hard to replicate virtually.
That makes sense.
Think about sharing a story with someone in person. You can literally feel their energy shifting with yours. This type of understanding, that's just tough to get through a screen.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because there's another side to this AI coin. And that's the possibility that AI could actually learn.
Learn what?
To mimic empathy.
Mimic empathy.
Based on all the data it processes.
Oh, wow.
You mean AI could potentially learn to act in ways that make us feel like we matter? Even if it doesn't really understand those feelings.
It's a fascinating and maybe kind of creepy thought, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, AI is constantly learning from all the data we generate.
Right.
And that includes like our expressions of loneliness, our desire for connection, all those experiences of feeling like we matter.
And if AI can analyze all that,
Yeah.
is it possible it could learn to reflect those emotions back to us?
That's both intriguing and a little unsettling.
It is.
It makes you wonder about the nature of connection itself.
Right.
If we feel like we matter to an AI, does it really count?
That's a question for the philosophers, I think.
Yeah.
But for now, I think it's important to focus on what we can control. Our own actions and the environments we create.
Yeah.
Like Mercurio says, environments can either enable or disable caring.
Right.
So no matter how AI evolves, we have this responsibility to cultivate workplaces where human connection and mattering can flourish.
I love that. It's a call to action for all of us.
It is.
No matter what our job title is.
Exactly. We can all make choices that contribute to a culture of mattering at work.
Absolutely.
It really comes down to remembering, you know, that everyone we work with, they're human beings with their own stories, their own hopes and dreams, and that need to feel like they matter.
I think we often overcomplicate things. It's not always about like grand gestures or expensive programs.
Sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference.
Exactly.
Like a genuine thank you. Or really listening to a colleague.
Yeah.
Just acknowledging someone's contribution.
Those little things can go a long way.
They really can.
When I think back on my own experiences,
Yeah.
it's often those small, authentic moments of connection that have made me feel seen and valued.
It's about being present.
Yeah.
And showing that you care.
It might be helpful to think about the people in your own life who've made you feel like you truly matter.
Yeah.
What did they do? How did they make you feel appreciated?
It's a good exercise.
When I think about it, it wasn't anything fancy or complicated.
Right.
It was those simple acts of care and recognition that really resonated.
It's about that human connection.
Exactly.
And I think it all comes back to shifting our mindset.
Okay. Yeah.
We need to stop seeing people as just cogs in a machine.
Yeah.
And start recognizing their value and their potential to contribute in meaningful ways.
This deep dive has really been eye-opening for me.
That's great to hear.
I'm seeing mattering at work in a whole new light.
Yeah.
It's not just about feeling good. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels respected, valued, connected to something bigger.
And it's recognizing that we all have a role to play in fostering that culture of mattering.
So where do we go from here?
That's the big question.
If environments can either support or hinder caring, what can we actually do in our workplaces to cultivate this sense of mattering?
Right, like what practical steps can we take?
No matter what our position is.
Exactly. What small changes can we make?
Yeah.
That'll actually make a difference.
I think that's what everyone wants to know.
It could be as simple as taking a few minutes.
Okay.
To listen to a colleague who's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Or publicly acknowledging someone's success. Maybe advocating for more flexible work arrangements.
Right. So people have time to recharge.
Exactly.
And reconnect with what matters to them.
It's about creating space for those things.
It's amazing how those seemingly small actions can ripple outward and create a more positive workplace culture.
They really can.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for more ideas, I'd recommend checking out Zach Mercurio's work.
Okay.
His website, zachmercurio.com, and his LinkedIn profile are great resources.
His research is really insightful.
It is.
It gives us a framework for understanding and fostering this whole idea of mattering at work.
And ultimately, it's about remembering that each of us has the power to make a difference, to create workplaces where everyone feels seen, valued, and connected.
That's a great message to end on. You know, it's fascinating to think about how even those small gestures can really have this ripple effect.
It is. It's kind of like that saying, right?
Oh, yeah.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
I like that.
When people feel like they matter, their contributions are valued, and that positive energy, it spreads throughout the whole team.
Exactly.
The whole organization even.
And it's not just about, like, individual well-being either.
Right.
It's about creating this more engaged, productive, and innovative workforce.
If people feel like they belong, like their work has meaning, they're more likely to put in the extra effort.
They're more invested.
Exactly.
And they're probably more likely to stick around, too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mercurio's research actually shows a strong link between mattering and employee retention.
So if people feel valued, they're less likely to go looking for another job.
It makes sense, right?
It does.
It's like investing in your employees' well-being, their sense of purpose.
Yeah.
It's an investment in the company's success.
Long term.
In the long run. Absolutely.
I think so much of what we've been talking about today comes down to shifting our perspective and being more intentional with our actions.
You know, that's a great takeaway for our listeners.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. What small but meaningful changes can you make in your workplace to foster that culture of mattering?
I like that.
It might be as simple as reaching out to a colleague who seems isolated, or maybe acknowledging someone's hard work.
Right. We're just taking the time to listen.
Exactly. Just listen.
That's just simple things.
They are.
But powerful.
And anyone can do them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your job title is.
Right. It's about those small actions.
Remember those small gestures?
Yeah.
They can have a big impact on others. It's about creating that ripple effect.
The ripple effect.
Of positivity.
Yeah.
Making people feel seen, heard, and valued.
This has been such a great conversation.
I agree.
Really eye-opening.
I'm glad.
This whole idea of mattering at work.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a new sense of purpose now.
That's awesome.
And a better understanding of how my actions can impact others.
I hope our listeners feel the same way.
Me too. If anyone's looking to learn more about this, Zach Mercurio's work is definitely worth checking out.
Oh, absolutely.
His website, zachmercurio.com,
Yeah.
and his LinkedIn profile are great resources.
He's got some really practical strategies and thought-provoking insights that can help anyone create a culture of mattering.
And remember, everyone mattering matters.
It does.
It's not just some feel-good concept.
No, it's crucial.
It's essential for our well-being.
Right.
Our productivity.
Yeah.
The success of our organizations.
Let's all go out there and make a difference.
And on that note,
yeah,
I think we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Until next time, everyone.
Keep exploring.
Keep connecting.
And keep making those ripples.
Yes, make those ripples.
That create a more positive and meaningful world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for watching Geeks, Geezers, and Googleization. Be sure to listen to the podcast and follow us on YouTube.